Yes, Mojis, how are you guys doing? Just a quick little video today. I thought it could be quite useful to share with you guys how I set up my macros, particularly in Serum 2, because I love to set up macros for my presets, not only the ones that I sell on my preset packs, but also just in general, because I feel like it's a great way that you can modify the sound in real time and automate the sound in real time. So I just wanted to share like a couple of ideas of how I set up my macros and why I choose those particular ideas and what things I track, the macros to, right? So for example, here is a preset called the gas tank bass. And for this one, we've got 4 macros. I like to just usually use around 4 because at some point you can go over the top with having so many options, But yeah, 4 is quite great for me. So one of them I often do is the speed. So it could be slowing it down even, or speeding it up. And it kind of depends what sounds better for that sound, So here I've got one called slow. And you can simply see that it's tracked to the LFO rate down here, you see. I've just tracked the slow macro to the rate, and it just comes to the left a little bit, And sometimes there'll be a case where when you do that, it will modify the sound in certain ways that you might not necessarily like. And in that case, you might need to also put that same macro on a few other things as well. So for example, here I put the smooth on as well, because if I didn't have that on, I had this sort of resonant squeaky part to the sound that came up more than I liked, So I put the smooth on, so it kind of you don't see it here, but it smooths out the shape at the same time as the rate is slowed down. So it's just adjusting a few things to get the desired sound result as well, So that's with the slow macro. Then I've got another one which I call tone. Or some of my old presets I called it Tony. And this is where I just try to make a different version of the sound that has just a slightly different tonality to the version A, So it's almost like version A and B. And again, this can be on various things, but things I'll often check are the amount of frequency modulation if I'm using it, because that often has a massive impact on the actual character of the sound. So even here, just turning up the frequency modulation from the sub into oscillator A a tiny bit, that gives a big difference. And also the cutoff position on the filter here, that makes a nice difference. And sometimes I'll even edit some stuff in the effects. So I've actually got a bit of a change in the chorus as well. So actually chorusing the sound a little bit more. And there might have been one more thing, but I can't see it now. But yeah, it's like a little bit of extra chorus as well. But yeah, essentially it's just like making a little switch to the sound. So again, this kind of one is great for changing the actual tonality of the sound over time, so it doesn't become boring, So maybe like in your response section you switch it up here, or maybe later on in the track you use the same bass sound again, but this time around you have the tonality is slightly different, and the listener will kind of feel a bit refreshed by it, So that's why I like to have sort of a tonality change at some point during the composition as well. Okay, so yeah, that's the slow and the tone. Then I've got damp, which is what I sometimes use as well. And that's really simple. Can be great for like intros and things like that if you want to just build it up in the background and just, automate the brightness to come in. And for damp, it's really, really simple. It's basically just a low pass filter. And I'll often put this in my effects chain, turn the mix off, and set the damp to basically trigger the mix of the filter to apply the low pass. Pretty simple, yeah? But very useful in your composition sometimes. Then I usually always have a space, or pretty much every time I'll have a space macro, which is basically reverbing it out, washing it out, And so again, you could use this in combination with the damp, for example. To really push it to the background and then bring it back again. Give it loads of reverb and bring it back. And yeah, with the space, again, that's usually just tracked to the reverb and maybe a bit of delay as well. On this one, I've got 2 reverbs, convolution reverb, which I've put a little bit extra on for a bit of a character change. And then a big whole reverb, which is the main macro. Yeah, so that's something I regularly do. Nice and simple, but very, very useful again, especially also towards the end of a 8-bar loop, end of a 16-bar loop, for example. You want to like wash the sound out a bit to blend it into the background before you know, get rid of it from the composition. So yeah, one more preset we can look over quickly. Similar kind of thing, but a couple of different settings on here. So this is the Gaslight the Owl. And this one I've gone for a faster version here. And again, it's similar how I've just modified the rate of the LFO to achieve that, but this time made it a faster LFO. But again, you can see that I've attracted to a few other things as well, because like I mentioned, sometimes you change the speed of the LFO and the whole tonality changes in a way that you don't really necessarily like. So I actually felt like I had too much sub coming through when I made it fast. So I've reduced the level of the sub, and then I've modified the cutoff position on my kind of bandpass filter a bit, and the sort of shape of it as well. Yeah, so sometimes you can get away with just modifying the LFO rate and you don't have to change anything and it sounds great, but sometimes the sound isn't that amazing yet and you've got to do a couple more tweaks with extra parameters for that macro. All right, here again I've got another damp, which I believe is probably also in the effects section. Yeah, just another low pass there. So it's sometimes quite useful. I don't put it on every preset, but sometimes I think it can be useful. Then here's another separate idea, which is wide, and this one is basically I'll just take some of the key effects that create stereo width and just turn them all up a little bit independently. So a little bit of extra convolution, bit of extra dimension and hyper, bit of extra chorus because that widens things. And also a bit of flanging on this one, but that's not really a widening plugin, it's just for a little bit of a change in character as well. But then let's have it on fast as well. It can be good to dial in how stereo you want the sound, because that kind of depends on your mix down as well, depending on what other elements you've got going on. Maybe you want the sound a bit narrower or a bit wider, you know. And then again, I've got a space one on here, which is basically, again, mostly all just in the big reverb and a tiny bit of the small reverb as well. All right, there's actually one more setting that I want to show you, which I haven't put on this one, but I think is probably on some other ones. Ah, yes, for example, on this pad. And that's the tape macro, which you'll find on a lot of my presets. And the tape macro is me basically emulating tape emulation through the effects, which is usually just using a load of flanging. Flanging and can be some extra noise. In this one, yeah, we've dialed the flanger right up, quite a fast rate as well. A little bit of detuning as well, because that's sort of the pitch detuning on the hyper here. Turning that up, touch of extra chorus, and I believe, yeah, also turning up the noise because the sort of tape hiss as well. A bit of extra. This is a really good one actually because I've kind of got it spot on. It's like really flangy and extra noise, and that's the main characteristics of the tape emulation usually, you know, that kind of, yeah, noisy signal and pitch wobble. So yeah, that's another one I often use. Those are like the main key macros that I tend to create for my patches. so that they're ready to be manipulated by you guys, but also so I can manipulate them when I'm producing as well, so I can give like nice variations to the sound like during the composition. So yeah, it can be quite simple. Like you don't have to go over the board with it. You can just, you know, use the space to reverb the sound out at the end, or have a intro part where you kind of dampen it and have some more space on it, and then like automate that to come off so it gets drier and louder towards the drop. Or yeah, just bouncing out separate versions of the patch with different tonalities on, separate versions with different speeds on, and yeah, that kind of stuff, you know. So pretty straightforward. You don't have to like use everyone like oh, you don't have to go like mental and use every single macro. It's just like, what does that composition need, and then it's there ready for you to do that quickly, you know. But yeah, I thought it would be helpful to just show you like how my mindset works when it comes to setting up macros for Serum. So hopefully that was valuable to you guys today. Much love. Thank you for everyone for watching. Thanks for all your support on the channel. I recently made a community post that was really, really inspiring because I just recently crossed over 1,300 videos, and I was just mentioning how even someone mentioned like, oh, you deserve way more views. But the thing is, like, I never I never do anything. I never like do anything specifically for the views, because when, as a YouTuber, like when you fall into that trap of like trying to get views, then you're immediately putting your creativity, like you're sort of sacrificing your creativity in, and like losing the control of that, you know, because you can never control like how many views you get. So like, I appreciate you guys like saying that, you know, my channel deserves more views. Like I appreciate that, but that really defeats the whole concept of what I was trying to say. You know, I was saying that you only focus on what you can do and your consistency, and anything else is background noise essentially, you know. So I wanted to celebrate the fact that I have been able to keep up consistently with making videos, and I really appreciate all you guys being a part of the channel and yeah, supporting me. But I just want to inspire you that it's hard work and discipline and consistency that you need to be after, you know, and all these visual metrics, they really don't mean anything, you know. It's purely how better you're doing than the version of you yesterday that counts, and just focus on that and tune out all the background noise, and I know you guys are going to smash it as well. All right, my G's, thank you very much for watching. May I remind you as well, I've got production classes available. You can book in via the links down below. I also have loads of preset packs on my website for Serum, Phase Plant and Vital and Current. And I have a great community on Patreon. We have a wonderful Discord community full of beautiful, lovely people who are always giving great feedback to each other, even when I'm not around. And if you guys ever want mixing and mastering work, you'll get a much better job done if you pick me over some random AI tool, which is not quite as good as me yet. But seriously though, if you do want some great professional finishing on your music, feel free to send your tracks my way. All right, that's it from me today. More from me very soon. Much love.